level of a massive crisis would need to happen for us to go back to gold? And if we go back to gold, we have more things to worry about than gold.
No.
War.
Well,
it's
no. Going back to gold is a gold standard is a good thing. I mean,
no one's saying it's not a good thing. We agree there.
I mean, even Alan Greenspan, when he was Fed chairman,
right,
in a congressional hearing, admitted that the economy did better under a gold standard than with the Federal Reserve, and his personal preference as Fed chairman would be to go back to a gold standard and abolish the Fed. But he said, but the public doesn't want that because the public wants something for nothing. They want a free lunch. See what gold does.
I don't even think it's the public that doesn't want that, Peter.
Well, gold is like the chaperone at a prom, right? Gold, keeps the politicians honest. On a gold standard, you can't run big deficits. So if politicians want to provide a program, they have to pay for it. They have to raise taxes that they want to raise spending. They don't have to do that on a fiat standard. So the politicians love fiat money, but the people should love gold. If you believe in freedom and prosperity and individual liberty and the Constitution, you want to restrain government with gold. You want honest money, but the politicians don't want that. So if we just return to gold on our own, that would be great. But I agree, the politicians will not go back on a gold standard until they have no alternative. Things are going to have to be so bad. Inflation is going to have to be so rampant, right? There's going to be crime. There's going to be rioting, looting, shortages. I mean, things are going to get bad before they finally give in, right? We're going to do all the wrong things until we run out of wrong things to do before we do the right thing. And again, it'll be when they're screwed either way, right? Once they realize they're not going to get reelected no matter what they do. Things are so bad that they might as well do the right thing. So yeah, we may not go back on a gold standard in America until things are really, really bad. That's unfortunate. But going back on a gold standard is a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
I don't think anybody's arguing that if you could look back through history, having money tied to physical value is a bad thing. No one's going to argue.
No, good thing. Well, money, the definition of money is the most marketable commodity. So money itself is supposed to be a commodity. It's supposed to have its own use.
Yeah. And once upon a time it was salt, where we get the phrase, is he worth his salt?
Well, that's where salary comes from.
Correct.
Because the Roman soldiers got paid in salt.
So we're on the same page. Once upon a time, you have a physical item that's tied to money. Money is the physical item, even if it's $1, that reserve number. Got it. But what we're talking about is a couple things here. Cataclysmic effect in the economy. You're basically talking about almost like a nuclear winter is what it would take to get there. And the other argument, well, why didn't the Fed just keep raising interest rates and keep the government from spending? Wait a minute. The government is not, you could raise interest rates to 50% and the government's still going to try to spend. It's just whether they could sell those T-bills around the world to gullible other governments.
If the Fed was truly independent and had not monetized debt with quantitative easing, if the Fed did raise interest rates, it would force the government to cut spending. It would have no choice. The reason the government has been able to get away with this is because the Fed has made it possible, right? The Fed has been complicit in the growth of government by refusing to be the independent central bank that it should. It is accommodating the government and enabling the government to take on all this debt.
Well, but the other side, you went to consumers spending as well. But consumers, we all know they got these inflated dollars during the stimulus. Everybody, a bunch of dollars were printed, not really printed, but you know what I mean. The money supply was expanded because they said, okay, here's everybody's stimulus checks. And I think credit cards went down and touched mid 600 billion level, credit cards in the United States. But then the consumer spent that right back up to 1.1 trillion where it is now, with highest interest rates on record and fee structures that are in there. And then when they're tapped out at Christmas, buy now, pay later was up there.
Yep.
They used that, and then we saw 40% delinquency rates as it took them 4 months, not 6 weeks, to pay off.
Yeah,
buy now, pay later
none of this credit would be available in a free market.
It doesn't appear to be that there's a deterrent in place.